Has anyone hurt you so badly that years later, those memories still jump out at you at the most random moments? Like when you're walking down the street, sitting on a train, or even in your dreams, and suddenly you're replaying those scenes again, imagining what you should have said, what you should have done, and how you should have hit back at those people who have wronged you? That was me this week. So I was doing my 10 weeks breathwork meditation training, and the intention of the week was, I forgive myself. But instead of remembering my own mistakes, every person who's ever hurt me show up in my meditation, all at once. But then a few lessons last week taught me how to finally forgive those people and take my power back. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I finally forgave everyone who hurt me, and even myself, using trauma psychology, neuroscience, and one very unexpected moment in a cinema. So if people who hurt you still live rent-free in your head, this video is for you.
I forgive myself.
Hi, I'm Tony, talking about what's beyond ordinary everyday life psychology so we can think differently about life's deeper meaning. So this week is week 8 of my 10 months breathwork facilitator training with 7 directions. We're also on 8 weeks of Michael Brown's The Presence Process book. And the daily practice is 15 minutes twice a day of conscious connected breathing, in and out through the nose, no pauses between inhale and exhale. Quick safety notes, please check the contraindications for conscious connected breathing in the description below. And for week 8, the intention was, I forgive myself. And I thought, great, this should be easy. Let's find and remember some of the past mistakes I made and forgive myself. But just like other weeks' practice, that's not what happened. And instead of finding old memories to forgive myself, a full cast of villains who really screwed me over in the past popped into my head. Like during my master's degree in science in transpersonal psychology I did with Aleph Trust 2 years ago, I had to do this group presentation with 4 other classmates, each with a 5-minute slot. But when I drafted my part and email to the group, straight after that, they basically kicked me out of the group and stopped letting me participate in the group presentation. So then I had to speak with the faculty staff to convince them to let me still present my part, so I don't have to wait for another year to meet the course requirements. And luckily, in the end, it worked out. I got to present my parts alone, separate from the other group members. But after all these years, my body and head kept telling me those people in my group were bullies, and made me see that even in spiritual psychology spaces, there are horrible people who will screw you over. And then another memory popped up. I was doing my 200-hour yoga teacher training a few years ago, and for our final practical exam, everyone in the class passed on the first or second try. But me? My teacher failed me, not once, twice, but 3 times. And not because I was throwing people into dangerous shapes, but over tiny things like, you're saying wrong. So while my classmates are out celebrating being newly qualified yoga teachers, I had to wait a whole year to resit the exam with another assistant teacher instead, and finally passed on my 4th attempt. But the original teacher? To this day, she has never passed me, and I think I was still traumatized by the whole experience, like, you will never be good enough. You'll always be the one who gets singled out, failed, and left behind. So there I was last week, breathing on I forgive myself for my breathwork meditation course. I kept thinking, wait, hang on, how am I supposed to forgive myself when I still couldn't even forgive those villains who have hurt me when I tried so many times? Because I've done visualizations and meditations, and I said to them, I forgive you, I wish you well, all the spiritual stuff. But if I really forgiven them, why do they keep popping up in my head after so many years? And what even is forgiveness? Is it me sitting here waiting for an apology that will probably never come? Or me waiting for someone to officially confirm, yes, Tony, you were treated unfairly. They were wrong, you were right. Alright, so what does psychology and neuroscience actually say about forgiving others and forgiving ourselves? First, as kids, we blame ourselves for everything, even when the adults are objectively at fault. Because children are wired to believe, if something goes wrong, it must be my fault. So research shows that when children experience conflicts, chaos, or anger from adults, they automatically assume personal responsibility, even when they had zero control. And here's a twist, Neuroscience shows that self-forgiveness and forgiving others use the same neural and emotional pathways. So studies using fMRI found that forgiving yourself and forgiving someone else activates overlapping region in the prefrontal cortex and temporal parietal junction, the parts of the brain involved in empathy, perspective taking, and emotional regulation. So that's why when I try to think, I forgive myself, my brain basically goes, great, let's start by forgiving those other assholes you still remember, because those relationships are the root of my stored self-blame. And the research supports this. When we hold on to resentment towards others, it's often because we're holding on an even deeper resentment toward ourselves. In fact, science shows that forgiving others increases your ability to forgive yourself. It's literally a two-way door. So when we can't forgive others, we also can't forgive ourselves. So the real question becomes, how do we forgive others? Well, a few weeks ago, I watched the double feature of Wicked 1 and 2 in the cinema. And one of the most powerful moments was when Elphaba looks at the Wizard of Oz and says,
"You have no real power."
And that line slapped me in the face. Because suddenly I realized that all these people who hurt me, the one who still pops into my mind out of nowhere, none of them ever held real power over me. I was the one giving them power by replaying the story in my head. So my wicked moments was finally seeing, just like Elphaba, that I was the wizard all along. And for years, I was handing my power away to the people who hurt me. And once that lands, forgiving them becomes easy, because you stop needing an apology. You stop needing them to feel sorry. You stop waiting for them to change. And you realize forgiving others is simply recognizing they have no real power and taking back the power you gave them. So here's how I forgave the people who hurt me, especially the real assholes. First, pick one person who still pops into your mind and pisses you off. Second, take a gentle breath and say to yourself, I forgive myself for how long I've carried this. And finally, say to that person you picked in your mind, you have no real power. I'm taking my power back. So before learning how to forgive others and myself, I honestly believe forgiveness only happens when they finally feel sorry and apologize. But after learning the science behind forgiveness, I started thinking differently. Maybe forgiveness has nothing to do with them. Maybe it's about realizing they never had real power and I was the one giving my power to them all along. And only when I take my power back, I can finally forgive myself for ever believing I was the one who did something wrong in the first place. So if you tried any other ways to forgive other people, please share your story in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share with a friend. It really helps me make more videos like this. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.